Mackenzie.
Lemar. Did I get it right?
You did.
Okay.
What are we doing here today? Question.
Oh my. We are doing a movie marathon statement. We are doing something we've never done on the pod before. We are actually going to not only record all of our episodes for the month of May, we are going to watch them all. Sans one, because as you can see behind us, the first one we're covering is Project Hail Mary, and that is still in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
So we both went and saw it. Did you see it this week? I saw it this week.
I saw
as well.
it a second time this week. Yes.
I saw it a third time this week.
I would watch it a third time.
It holds up. It holds up. I had a good friend of ours that we know message from work yesterday, and he was like, how did it hold up on the second watch? And I was like, it's a third watch. He's like, you're ridiculous. I was like, I'm saying it held up. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be kind of wild. And so like, we're obviously making our custom cocktails for every episode too. So yeah, your Days Sober shirt is really relevant right now.
Completely accurate in the moment. Yeah, this could be like a make or break day for the podcast.
Right.
I feel like, because it's either going to be a blast or we're going to fucking hate each other by the end of this. Yeah. So we will see.
It's going to be like 11 hours.
It's going to be a day for sure. So no huge cold open question. We wanted to get that out. So as you guys listen to the next 4 weeks of episodes, these will have been recorded consecutively. So if we get a little loosey goosey by the end of May, now you know why. And that's why we're also in this like cool setup at Mackenzie's house. You got Ryan Gosling stealing all my thunder back here.
I made him move, fun fact, because I was like, you're blocking Ryan, who we are all here to see. Also, you get to see my wall of movies you've never seen before. Yeah, we keep talking about it.
It's a unique setup. Maybe we should do this more often. But with that, I guess let's get things started.
Let's roll. Welcome back to We Drink and We Watch Things. I'm Mackenzie.
I'm Lemar.
And we are in a very different setup today, as you can see. If you blew past cold open because you hate those, I get it. Totally fine. But just to recap, we are recording all day. It's going to be 11 hours of movies. And we're doing something we've never done on the pod before, which is record and watch all at once. And we're calling this Space MAYhem. Get it?
Yeah.
MAYhem.
Month. Yeah.
Get
it?
Amazing. I'm really proud of that. It was kind of ridiculous. Anyway, we're going to kick things off with
Project Hail Mary.
As you can see behind us in Ryan Gosling's beautiful face. So we did both rewatch this week, and we're going to do a quick chat about it, and then we're going to go on to the next one. So it's going to be kind of wild.
We're also putting ourselves on kind of like a tight timer today because we don't want to be here for 14 hours. I was very glad that we had to go see Project Hail Mary in theaters, because I was like, that would add another 2.5 hours to the day. But we do have an actual alarm down here for each episode, and we're going to try to keep these to like 65 minutes. And if it goes off, then we're just going to have to panic and see what happens. But
we know ourselves, and one, we talk too much, and two, we love this fucking movie. Yeah, so this is actually a great game for us, because one of us is maybe going to like get cut off mid-sentence, and I think that's going to be exciting. But anyways, to power us through, we're starting obviously earlier in the day. So what are we drinking to kick us off?
Yeah, so we're drinking a cocktail that Mackenzie herself crafted, and this is 1.5 ounces of vanilla vodka, an ounce of Mr. Black liqueur, 1 to 2 ounces of fresh espresso, cooled, not hot, half an ounce of Cointreau, and then optional, you can add 0.25 ounces of simple syrup for me, who needs it. You can also go for orange bitters if you like your coffee or espresso even more bitter, like Mackenzie. So brew that shot of espresso, let it cool slightly, combine with the vodka, tequila, coffee liqueur, orange liqueur in a shaker, add ice, seal, shake vigorously for 15 to 20 seconds until it's cold and foamy, strain it into a martini glass, garnish with orange peel and or coffee beans. And it looked really cool when you first poured this. It was a very beautiful drink.
And I was trying to do like a little starburst, like a little spacey starburst with like a shooting star, like the orange peel was the thing, and the beans and anyway.
And we're calling this Astrophage Ignition because it's the first drink of the day and we need the caffeine.
We sure do. Cheers. Yeah, I did put in the recipe a Lemar version and a Mackenzie version. So like we are gonna post these in actually I think like a cool book at some point. And the instructions will be there. So like if you're a Lemar drinker, you're going to have options. If you're
all the simple syrup.
If you're a Mackenzie drinker, you're going to have options, because we're looking out for you. So anyways. Okay, so we are going to stick with like just a few quick basics if you don't already know. And I tried to do a thing that sort of worked and sort of didn't. So I tried to focus on people's space movies when I did my recon. Because it's Space Mayhem, guys. Okay, so I'm going to do my best here. So obviously Project Hail Mary this year, brand spanking new. Says it currently has a 7.5 out of 10 on IMDb, which actually is
Shockingly low
bananas
to
to me.
me.
Yeah. I feel like people just haven't reviewed it yet, maybe. Like it's, I don't know, like the haters come in first.
Or I can't. I mean, I know book fans who loved it, so I don't think it's that either. Of like, oh, it's
No,
not
I
like
read the book. I like it. I mean,
yeah.
like it's a pretty faithful adaptation. So I don't know. I think it's like that thing where we used to work for a reviews company and people who hate things write reviews first. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't trust that average. I expect it to go up. Anyway, on Rotten Tomatoes, though, it's 86% from critics, which same thing.
Again,
little
shocking.
surprising. And then 79% from audiences.
I think the only complaint you could give about this, like if you want to be a super cynic, you could almost say it's like too heartwarming. Like it's too good. It's like some people don't like
It's
E.T.,
too
right?
wholesome.
Like some people don't like E.T. because it's just so cute for this alien story. Like
who doesn't fucking like E.T.?
I'm just saying, like, I feel like maybe that's a complaint of just like this is too happy of a like dystopian movie. I wanted something more miserable. There were aliens, but they were too nice. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just some people's not style of movie, but I fucking love it. So.
I just don't trust these people. You know what I mean? Like they're all fired in my opinion. Anyway, okay, so some real quick basics. Our director here is actually a combo. It's a twofer. They do all their things together. So I'm going to address them together. Phil Lord and Christopher Miller directed this. Their most space adjacent film they've done together is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
They do not miss.
They don't miss. 100%
Whether it's directing or writing, like stemming all the way back to 21 Jump Street that they did together. They did the Lego movies. They did Cloudy with a Chance of Meatball. Like they just do not miss.
No, they're excellent. They are excellent. Their writers really powering this as well. Will not shock anybody, I think, if you're a fan of Andy Weir. It is Drew Goddard, who also adapted The Martian, which I think we can also agree is a great adaptation and also a just really good film, too.
You also loved Cabin in the Woods that he wrote, so there's that one.
Is there do you have a quota you have to hit every month of like how many times, how many times a month do you have to bring up? We're on May 2nd, sir. Like you can give it a minute. Anyway, okay, yes, this is the adaptation of Andy Weir's Project Hail Mary, obviously. And I forget, have you read it?
I have not. Janelle read it, and we both came out of the movie loving it.
Okay.
And we won't get into spoilers, but I liked the fact that I hadn't read the book because certain moments landed harder because I didn't know what was coming.
Got it. I have read it. I think it's a very faithful adaptation by and large. There's a few things that I think people have like science things that don't quite translate, but I think on the whole, it captures the ethos of the book.
In that vein, I thought it was funny that apparently when this was announced that it was going to be made, like all the way back in 2022, Andy Weir played an April Fool's joke where they had said like Gosling was cast from the beginning. There was never any doubt that Gosling was playing.
He's literally perfect for it.
And so Andy Weir went on Twitter or whatever on April Fool's Day and basically said, hey, this is getting made into a movie. It's going to be Ryan Gosling. And guess what? We're going to team him back up with Emma Stone and she's going to play Rocky. And he's like, it's going to change the source material a little bit. And like people bought into it. So I
didn't know about that.
Yeah.
That is hilarious. He is a funny fucking guy, to be fair. Like even just the way that he writes is really funny. Anyway, this was good stuff. Okay, I have to call out as well our cinematographer here.
Yeah.
I am going to share, I promise I'm going to share these things on the pod if I haven't already, or on our Instagram rather, I should say. There are some great comparison shots for this particular cinematographer and his prior work to Project Hail Mary that I think is a really fascinating comparison. So for reference, Greg Fraser, he did Dune parts 1 and 2. So like he has a shtick. But he also did the Batman, which I did want to call out because it's a little bit different. But he also did Rogue One. So like he has several space movies, like very, very space heavy. But there are literal like shot for shot comparisons here, which there are lots of cinematographers that do this. Don't get me wrong, but they're so one-to-one because the subject matter is also space-ish that it's a very cool comparison. And I think we have some objectively beautiful shots here.
Yeah,
like really
totally
cool.
agree with that. We'll get into that for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so quick cast and crew here. Ryan is playing Ryland Grace, which is very close to his name, RG and everything. His other space movie that I wanted to call out was First Man, which is a Damien Chazelle film who did La La Land, did
Before
Whiplash,
La La Land or
etc.
after La La Land?
After. And it's good, but what I will say is the pacing of that, it's very visually stunning and the music is good because Damien Chazelle. But the pacing is kind of off. I think it's fair to say. But anyways, that's his other space one. And he actually did a whole interview about like why he loves space movies so much when this came around. So it was a fun one. Sandra Huller, who plays Eva Stratt, she has done mostly German film. If you didn't already know this about her, I've seen a bunch of her German stuff, but I was like, she done another space movie? She was in, very briefly, a space movie called Proxima.
Oh, okay.
So, check it
So,
out.
She's like new to us, I think, on this side of the pond, but like she's been acting for 20 something
Oh,
years.
yeah.
But we all like in the last 4 years, we know her from like Zone of Interest and Anatomy of a Fall. So it's like it feels like she's blowing up now, but she's been acting for 2 decades.
Before that, one of her big critically acclaimed ones that did make it over, but not super widely, was Tony Erdmann. And that is a very weird film. And I saw it in theaters when it came out. And my girlfriend and I left because it was critically acclaimed. It is critically acclaimed. And we left and I was like, do we not get it? But she puts on an incredible performance. Like, that's objectively great, but the film is so weird. But I feel like she was so brave in that it was like a little bit of a breakout in terms of like what got her some more US jobs and like, anyway, it's worth watching because I think it's a good talking point.
Well, she's like so friggin' good in this. I was going to say this till we
good.
get to the plot, but like her character, for those of you who have never, like, this is not based on a stereotype. This is based on like actual archetypes of German people that I have met through like the business world and stuff. She plays this East German character, and it is just completely deadpan accurate to East Germans that I've met, of like direct. And their humor is like there, but it's like funny without being funny. No bullshit, no nonsense.
I mean,
and
she's German.
Perfectly
she's selling
cast.
it.
Yeah.
But you see, she plays it with some heart too, which is
for sure.
Which is, again, not quite the stereotype. So I like how that comes through too. James Ortiz plays Rocky, our buddy Rocky. He has done basically no space related things. He did something called The Woodsman that maybe I didn't know.
It's like a take on the Wizard of Oz, like the Tin Man, right? Like, and he's a puppeteer.
He's a puppeteer
and a puppet designer. And that's basically all he's done. Like, he wasn't even supposed to do the voice of Rocky. They just wanted him to puppet the thing because they knew that they wanted it to be practical.
Right.
And then he was dubbing the lines, and they told him, hey, after we're done, we're going to dub you over with a more professional actor. But he just crushed it. They left it in. And then my favorite thing is, dude, if I ever meet this guy, I've got so many icebreakers. We have the same last name. We were born 6 months apart. He was born in Albany, New York, which is like 20 minutes from where Janelle was born. And he grew up in Texas. So, and he's Puerto Rican. So like, it's just,
You guys are #besties.
Yeah, we're good. I'm getting in at the ground floor. This is only like his second movie. So, James, hit me up. We might be cousins. Who knows?
Get him on the pod.
Yes,
That's your job now. Okay. All right. Lionel Boyce plays Carl. Also hasn't done any space movies. Sorry, I tried. But you probably know him from The Bear.
Yeah.
Everybody knows him
really
from The Bear.
good in
And
that.
he's so good at that. He's so sweet. I just want to give him a hug for like half of it. Anyway.
And he makes the most of his time on screen here.
He's super
really,
nice.
There's not, one of the things I love about this is there's like no wasted time in this movie. Every scene has purpose. Every character has purpose. And his, 15 minutes of screen time is just so, again, wholesome and fun to watch in the interactions with Grace.
There's no throwaway characters.
Right.
I would reiterate that. Like, nobody who gets screen time didn't deserve it.
Right.
Like, it's excellent. Yeah. I tried this. I apologize in advance if this is wrong. Milana Weintraub plays Olesia Ilikina.
Which one did you pronounce better, her real name or the character's
Neither. I failed across the board, and we're very aware of this. It's totally
I've always
fine.
said Milana Weintraub, but that might be putting zero accent on things you're supposed to put. But she's great in a lot of things.
I did like play. I just need y'all to know, when I say I try this, I do. I like play the audio. I try to hear it. And anyway, I tried. Moving on. She plays one of the astronauts, and she is probably most well known. Again, no space movies, but most well known for This Is Us.
Or the AT&T commercials.
Oh my God, yes. I totally forgot about that. That's true. Probably, most people probably know her for that. Okay, and then Ken Leung plays Yao. He did have a space movie. We're back. He was in Star Wars: The Force Awakens. So.
Oh, okay.
He was kind of. I remember visually. I don't know.
One of the generals, or I can't remember.
Yeah, he's like one of the. He's on the rebel side, which is great. So we
remember
love
him from Lost back in the day.
He was on. It's not space related, Lamar.
I mean, it could. There was a lot of shit going on in that show. For all we know, there wasn't.
Actually, I say that I've never seen that show still, so I don't know. Anyway, okay, and then last one, Priya Kansara. She plays Mary, the voice of Mary, so the ship Mary. Yeah. And she does have a space movie as well. She was in Star City.
Okay.
So, and I do think like there's a couple lines of Mary, the voice, that does have some intonation to it. that is
Yeah.
a little bit less of a computer. And I love it because it's always tonally appropriate. It's
Mhm.
like she leans in at the right moment. So I really like their usage of her voice too.
There's a lot you can do with like I think what we're finding in just like movies and video games, there's so much you can do when you have like AI or like robot characters in something. When you look at, you mentioned Rogue One before, and like Alan
Yeah.
Tudyk as the robot in that, when you give them that little bit of sass or like dark,
Yeah.
like humor, it really does play really well.
Also,
So
Alan Tudyk can do anything.
yeah. Or I'm thinking of like Portal, like Gladys
Yeah.
in Portal, that actress is brilliant as well. And it's like they
Yeah.
have the ability to play it cold, but they can also be a dick when they want to be.
When like
you know,
Friday and
so-
Marvel and all that.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
we could go on and on about that. Obviously, we have a bunch of those up our sleeve, ready to go. But quick plot summary before we get into this. So, a science teacher wakes up alone on a spaceship. As his memory returns, he uncovers a mission to stop a mysterious substance killing Earth's sun, and that an unexpected friendship may be the key. So we're gonna get into some shit like right away. So turn around, don't drown. It's spoiler time.
Cool. So I know that when we first saw the trailer, Janelle was a little like, why would they give so much away? Because I guess in the book, it is, you know, what we see in the movie. He wakes up, he's in a spaceship, doesn't know his name, doesn't know how he got there, and slowly he's getting his memories. And I guess the trailer did kind of give away, like, he's in space to try and save basically what you just read, right?
Right.
He's in space trying to save the world. There's this thing eating the sun, and there's aliens. Like, they give that all away in the trailer. So I get why, if you were a book reader, you'd be like, why are you spoiling all these great reveals? But I don't know that this would have made the bank at the box office that it did without that trailer.
I was just gonna say, I don't know that there's a hook, and not even just all the reveals, but I don't know there's a hook without a we're going to try and save Earth, you know, in the trailer in some capacity. And I do think in the book, it does the time jump thing there as well. So like you're not getting everything out of the gate. You are getting it peppered in. What I do think they do here is they lightly truncate the timetable, but it didn't feel like drastic. It felt like a similar pacing in terms of translating it to a movie.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too far off for me, but I could see why people feel like, you know, oh, well, now we know there's an alien, but like kind of a course. Like,
yeah,
you know, like,
it makes total sense within the plot of the movie
Right.
that like if this thing is eating, you know, planets or sunlight, destroying universes, like that more than
Yeah.
one species would figure out that they need to go here to try and save their planets. But like, do you have the box office numbers of where it's
I
at
sure
right
do.
now?
So
Yeah.
I wanted to call, like, I wanted to have them live because, as you know, they're going.
They keep
they're-
pushing the streaming release date because it was
Because
supposed to
it's
be on
going so
Prime
well.
like 2 weeks ago. and
Right.
It's making bank. So
Well,
that's-
so fun
yeah.
fact also, not only have I seen this 3 times, I've seen this in IMAX twice. And I squeezed in the last IMAX showing because it was supposed to be the literal last one. Like I went the last day and it was like, because it was switching to Super Mario and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I got to run and go see it. So I did. And then it did, yes, so well that they brought it back for a second run. So a buddy of mine who hadn't gotten to go, we went last night.
Okay.
And so, anyways, I contributed to this number a lot. The overall budget was, for some reason, they have it broken down net and gross. Don't even get me started. 200 million to 248 million ish. And then the box office so far is at 620. Yeah.
Wow. Do
So
you think
far.
it's? I don't know that it's going to hit $1 billion, but
I don't know. I mean, it has already broken a bunch of records for especially like space films
Mhm.
that have released and like just to gangbusters, especially like opening weekend and things like that. What's the one that it beat? It's encroaching on The Martian. It's coming up on what The Martian did in terms of numbers. I can't remember them all. I think it surpassed Interstellar in its first weekend. Like it's got the word of mouth that's really powerful.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see where it goes.
yeah, I'm telling everybody to go see it.
I mean, yeah, again, I'm telling everybody to go see it. I've seen it 3 times. It's probably getting outrageous at this point, but it's great. It's so great. And so segueing into the things that I have to offer here is this movie is fucking excellent.
Yeah.
And because we saw it in theaters, I don't have a ton of notes. I have a few things about like the shots, the cinematography, the
Mhm.
story, etc. But I think the overarching comment that I have here are 2 things. One, I do think it's a pretty decent adaptation. That's a rare thing to say as a book reader. You know, like you don't always get to say that. You almost always are like, the book was way better, whatever. It's why you got me the hat. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But I think it's pretty close. Like it's a pretty close experience, which I really love. The book made me cry and the movie made me cry. So I think we're crushing it. But I also think the other thing is like it is just perfectly, it feels like it's way too early to say this, but it feels like a Best Picture nom to
Oh,
me.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be shocked when it gets a nom at least. But yeah, it is perfectly paced from front
Yeah.
to back. Again, no wasted time, no wasted scenes. And the breakdown of how we spend we start in this sort of like shocking opening where this guy is waking up. There's dead
Mhm.
bodies around him. They have this weird tilt cam thing going on. He's like
I
digging
love that, by
around,
the way,
like,
the transitions that they do
yeah.
throughout for that of like
Mhm.
going to the flashbacks to the ship.
Mhm.
I just think that's such a simple but excellent usage of the transitions there.
Yeah, that chaos at the start, him like rifling around through everything, writing down like who am I, him
Mhm.
having like realizations. So you get this chaos, and then you spend the rest of the movie sort of going back and forth between these really wholesome, like, I'm gonna call this a bromance. I think this is the best bromance movie of
It
all
is.
time.
I
Like,
agree. I hard agree. It's maybe the best bromance of all time, and it is certainly like the best friendship
yeah,
on screen that I think. I don't know. I can't think of one off the top of my head that really compares, like, because it just crosses those boundaries of
mhm,
when we see people on screen building relationships of any kind, romantic or friendship or whatever, 99.9% of the time, it is human to human, or
yep,
maybe it's human to dog, right? Like that's it. This is so unique because again, you can't even identify, like, he doesn't have a face. He makes a comment in the movie where he's like, I can't see your face, buddy. He's like, no, it's okay. Faces are overrated.
yeah,
And they really do. You forget how important that is to relate to people, to understand mannerisms, to connect. And so they, despite all odds, despite him being shaped like a rock, being an alien, having another language, all these things, they truly become best friends
yeah,
and family, I would argue almost. Like, I mean, because again, like the things that they do for each other are like just so self-sacrificing.
mhm.
And yeah, I hard agree. It's like the one of the best relationships I've ever seen on screen.
It's incredible, and I feel like respect to the writers, direct, not just the book, right, but like the writer directors of the movie
Mhm.
and the character design and all that, because it would have been pretty easy to be like, hey, this like crabby rock monster thing isn't really going to play with kids on the big screen, so
Yeah.
let's make it look more like Gizmo from Gremlins. Like they could have tried to do, and I'm so
They could have
glad they
done that.
didn't, because by
No.
the end, like I don't like you view Rocky. They consistently tell you, what I like that they do is, part of me wants to see him almost as like a pet companion.
Yeah.
Like early in the movie, you're like, oh, he's kind of like a little dog, like but then
Right.
throughout they remind you he is smarter than Grace. Like he
Well,
is constantly one-upping him.
this is the one thing I think the movie doesn't translate well from the book. I will pause there. Is not because he's not more brilliant than Grace in a lot of ways, because he is. But what I think the movie does a little disservice to what happens in the book is that they actually are incredibly well balanced.
Mm,
They actually have a very complementary skill set. So this is also like just such an instance of fate
yeah,
that these two are paired with each other to save the world, like worlds plural, because what Rocky's race is really good at is memory and math.
yep,
Like memory is innate. They're not struggling to remember. Once you know something, you remember it, right? And math is instantaneous. They're like calculators, right? And they don't think anything of it. And so he makes a joke. He's like, "You're bad math," like here and there. Which Ryland is great at math, but it's different for them versus the way humans process math.
mm,
What humans have a better understanding of is relativity and gravity and science on the whole, like biology and what
mhm,
he's there for, microbiology. And so there's no way for Rocky, who is by the way an engineer, they refer to him in the movie as a mechanic, but he's an engineer, and there's no way for him to understand some of the science.
yeah,
And so that's where they do really complement each other.
yeah,
What's funny about the movie, and I actually don't hate it, is they make it seem like Rocky's like carrying this team.
yeah.
Like he's like, I did the chain, I did the catcher, I did this, I did that.
His pilot, not so good.
shit, not so good. And it's so funny, and the way they do it is great, because I actually do think it's, to your point, of trying to make him more of a person,
Yes,
more equal
yes.
than you would be predisposed to doing
Mhm.
if they were, even on the equal playing field, if that makes sense.
It makes total sense, and it takes that to the pacing point. It's like you have these incredible moments of just lighthearted humor. All of it lands, and they balance it with it. It feels like one of the best executed, like, high stakes, but still just so wholesome and fun throughout that I've seen in recent years.
Yeah.
And it balances, you get some science in there of them actually
Yeah.
like making it make sense to you as the viewer. You get incredible action sequences.
Mhm.
You get some really bleak subject matter on
Oh
Earth.
gosh, yeah.
Like it just, everything is perfect
But
for
it-
2.5 hours.
But it doesn't shy away from the not perfect stuff. I think, like you're saying, one, I think it's perfect for 2.5 hours for sure. But I will also say, like, the pacing is great and the tonal shifts are always appropriate, right?
Yeah.
Like there are these hard topics and these hard moments. I love the classroom scene with the kids because, first of all, I mean, literally Ryan Gosling could have chemistry with a rock, as we have established. However, he has chemistry with all these kids. Like he's bonding with these kids, and you see how he uses it as a little bit of a cop out later, but he does love these kids.
Yeah.
And that does translate from the book as well. And I think you could relate to that as a teacher, right? Like you care about these kids, even though they're not your kids, but they're kind of your kids.
I like that through line through the movie of why him being a teacher is so, like, he uses it as a crutch later to try and get out of the mission, right? But Janelle pointed out, she's like, did you notice that he never swears because he's always got kids, so like he always cuts out his swears.
And that's in the book too.
And then I didn't realize this until I was on IMDb just looking at random facts today, and it was like, there's a line of dialogue when he first meets the scientists that they don't subtitle, but it's when the one engineer guy is talking to what's her name, Ava, and they're speaking, and they don't tell you what it is in subtitles, but apparently he says, "Why does he talk to us like we're children?" And she's like, "Don't worry, you get used to it." And it's like, because he's a teacher.
Because he's
like,
a teacher.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense, and that through line obviously leads us to the ending eventually of like where he ends up, which is great. So,
and I just see him like applying that skill set to people who don't know his field. Like even though he's talking to them like they're children, he's he is a specialist in a different thing than them. And so I think it is good that he leverages that and does a good job of that. But yeah, I like generally that chemistry that he has with his kids and the humor that is handling that very complicated situation. He is trying to tell these kids that the world's going to end. Like the species is going to go extinct, and he doesn't want to deal with it. First of all, he doesn't want to.
Whoop, a medium whoop. Like,
I love that part. It's a small to medium whoop. And like he doesn't want to talk about it at all because like politics in this day and age, right? He's like, "What do your parents think?" I loved that. But once he's in, he has to teach them. He has to teach them, and he tries to do his best. And that tonal shift of like this was kind of a heavy topic, and then you go into this humor of his first interaction with Ava, which is just so fucking great. Like no notes. They're dynamic. They also immediately have chemistry and vibe, even though she's like again respect, German. Like
the respect between them is like palpable. I never read the first time I was watching it. I was wondering if they were going into like, could this be something more than just coworkers?
I think they're hinting at it, but it's not
like they have a chemistry, but it's like this is not a priority right now. In this day and age in this universe,
right?
But yeah, she is such a good foil to him.
Yeah,
and she is literally the woman you want saving the world in this scenario.
100%.
She has lines where he's like, it must be really hard sending these people. That actually, it's not. Like just
because I have 100% confidence that the thing that I am doing is for the greater good. This woman, and we do like Ryan gets an incredible amount of credit here. He says the most screen time, all the things,
in every scene,
and he
literally every scene,
and he should because he does a fucking knocks it out of the park.
Yeah.
But what we have to say is like, you're right. That character is perfect. Her portrayal of that character is perfect. She is exactly the person you want for the situation. And let me just say, obviously, I have to. Of course, you want a woman saving the world. Like, obviously, she's going to be the only one who actually does look at it analytically and go, this is the thing that is the best. And I think she is so good at making these hard decisions. And what I love that they give her the opportunity to do here is still have an emotion. Like, yes, she's East German and she's very direct and she's very, compartmentalized. But you see that it's not hard, but she's aware of the impact.
There's weight.
There's weight to it. She's aware of the impact. Certain things hurt. I do think she has bonded with Grace, and she is heartbroken to have to put him in this position.
Yeah.
But that doesn't supersede the thing that has to happen.
Yeah.
And I will say the one thing that doesn't quite translate for the book is that there's this one piece of science that's not really captured here, is that you have to have a gene to be able to be put in this long coma.
Okay.
And they had to pre-test a bunch of people to see who could do that. And not everybody has the gene. A lot of people will like actually pass away or have just severe complications without intervention if they're in a long coma. And so everyone who ends up on the ship has the gene. She made Grace get tested as a part of like the prep, right? And what I love about that in the book is like she has this foresight of
that like we might need
she
him.
has a backup to a backup to a backup, but she still is like the guy training everybody might need to do it. I just love that it gives her so much. She is so forward thinking. She is so on top of it.
Hyper focused on like we are saving the world. There's nothing else.
So he doesn't just go. He goes because he has the gene and he's done the training.
That was okay. That makes a lot of sense because I asked Janelle this time when we finished the second watch. I was like, "Do they explain why he survived the and the other two didn't? Like the two other people on the ship." And then she does have kind of a line at the end where she says something about where the story will be we put you in a coma early to like make the transit. And I was like, maybe that's why he survives because he was put into the coma earlier. But that actually makes a ton of sense that there's like a gene as well. So.
He's actually held in jail before it happens in the book.
Oh.
And so he doesn't quite, he's very cognizant of what is about to happen. He doesn't get to like just get knocked out.
Okay.
But we don't know exactly, even in the book, why they pass away. It just had to be that they encountered something else because they both had the gene. So they must have had something that like the robot intervention couldn't solve.
That was, because I mean, when they explain away what happened to Rocky's crew as well, and it's like radiation. So it's like maybe they just experienced some of it. It's like, why did it not affect him? I mean, we don't need to dig deep into that. It was just a curiosity of mine this time. The one complaint that I have seen about this that I don't completely agree with, but I get is like, I personally don't buy the whole like, oh, poor Ryan Gosling is this like poor middle school teacher in a town with no friends or loved ones or pets and no one likes him. And it's like, get the fuck out of here. Like that's the one.
Can we just all pause and look at this guy for a quick second?
This movie that like he plays the rest of the role perfectly when he's in space and he's this charming, like, it's kind of a two-man show in this film.
Yeah.
But the whole thing at the beginning of just like, oh, he's so sad and like lonely and no one likes him. I'm like, bullshit. He has parent-teacher conferences.
What?
Every mom in this fucking town is gonna want a piece of that. So, and some dads.
Number one, people, everyone, listen, everyone loves Ryan Gosling. Everyone, hands down, straight or not. I think I hard agree with that he is. I don't think that he's lonely. Sure. I don't think that's true. I think that he is alone. And those are two different things. Like, I think he gets a lot of satisfaction and joy out of his teaching and his kids. I think that part is true. But I don't think I think he's just has an identity crisis. You know what I mean? I think at his core, unrelated to his relationships, he's kind of like, he had this big hypothesis that didn't pan out. He went another way. Like, I don't think he's figured out his personal side of things.
Sure.
But I don't know that I think that he's lonely. And I don't think that ever comes through in the book or the movie for me. What I do think is like he's alone. What I think is very interesting about the Eva and him interaction that I do think that they show a bit more in the film is that they have a lot more in common than you would expect, and just radically different backgrounds and personalities and all the things. But what I see that I thought was kind of beautiful about them is what they brought out in each other. And like he brought out in her this lightness and this need for camaraderie and connection that she has sort of held at arm's length a little bit.
And she brought out of him cowardice. She proved that he was a wimp. Like,
she did prove that he was a wimp, but she did also have deep faith in him. And
she knew that he would get the job done.
She knew that he would get the job done and that he was actually the perfect guy for the job. And I think that's beautiful when somebody has faith in you before you have faith in yourself. And I think that happens a lot. And sometimes you can't see your own potential. And so even though nothing happens, which I think is absolutely perfect, by the way, I don't think anything should happen with them. I like the hint of this connection.
Well, it ties into, there's a great scene when, they're sort of having the send off, like they're getting ready to go out on the mission. There's this big farewell karaoke party and she's just off doing her own thing. And he goes up and has that conversation with her and sort of influences her to come down and just do a karaoke song to like lighten the spirits. And she picks
but very indirectly influences her. Like just the conversation brings that up, which I love about the writing of like, this is her takeaway.
And apparently that scene was not in the original scripts. Like Gosling just heard her singing on set and was like, we should have you sing at some point in the movie. And it just works in so flawlessly. It doesn't feel forced again. And I think it does carry a lot of weight in that scene. if
And
there's
she picked the song.
the Harry Styles,
She came back to him like she was like, "Can I think about it?" And she went away for like 24 hours, and she came back and she said, "Okay, I'll do it. And this is if I can do this song."
and then in the most
And it's
East German way,
perfectly
she
fitting.
does like 2 verses, and I was like, okay, that's enough.
Okay, I'm done. I'm done. What she
Yeah.
does, it fits the story. It
Yeah.
fits the vibe. It fits like, and they're all so, everyone. It's not just him connecting with her in that moment, which I love that, and they do have a very direct connection in that moment. She connects with everybody in that room.
Yeah.
Like they immediately get buy-in to her that they didn't have before. Not because they didn't respect her. Of course they respected her. But just like she's a person to them now.
Yeah. And the lyrics to that song are like so perfectly fitting of like, we'll see each other again. Like, I know I'm sending you to deaths, but like, we'll see each other again another time, another place. I want to touch, speaking of music, like we didn't call out, I don't know if you wrote down who does the score on this, but like props to whoever that is, because there are sequences and just the score from front to back is incredible. Who is it?
Daniel Pemberton does the score here, and he did Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse as well. So like that's where that comes from. But he does the score, and then obviously the music is curated,
Yeah, the sequences in this, I'm thinking there's a few different unique ones, and obviously a bunch get reused throughout, but like the action sequences, the Tau Ceti scene of like that the more like chill things, like when Rocky and Grace are meeting for the first time, and like those like kind of like mellow backdrops to the like when the thing is getting thrown through space, he's trying to catch it. When Grace and Carl are doing their experiments, and it's this kind of like jazzy rat-a-tat like thing happening while they're doing that. There's a lot of really good music in this.
There's incredible music, and it again, it can't like tonally be overstated how appropriate it is. And I think, again, one of the things I loved about the IMAX is, as if you haven't seen it in IMAX and you can, I really do recommend. It's not like a gimmick. It really is very immersive, but the music is the other part of that. It does actually like truly surround you. And especially at big moments, like you're saying, where he's doing the catch, he's at Tau Ceti, the shots, like this last time, actually the third time that I saw it, the moment where he switches to the IR for the astrophage to be able to see it, and you get the big red shot with all the dots, that with the music, because it's totally quiet, that made me cry. Like I teared up a little. I was like, and there are lots of points in this, to be clear, that will make you tear up. It's very emotional. It's beautiful. But that hit me different this time. And it was the music. Like it's that moment. It's the shot and the music.
Then he literally says, I'm having a moment.
And then he asked him, and which gives you, by the way, as the viewer, I think, the perfect emotional break that you need. Yes. Right? That's the other thing I think as an audience member that makes this viewing experience so compelling, is that you do deal with these heavy topics, like we were saying, but you also get the right humor beats to let you take a breath. Because like if you sat in that for too long, you're not going to be able to go into the next scene. And he's like, Rocky's just like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
like,
how on a scale of 1 to 10, how pissed off is Steven Spielberg that he didn't make this movie? Because this feels like a perfect Spielberg.
Do you know what I think?
Picture.
I really think, I know you're kind of making a joke, but I actually think he's not.
Well, they borrow from him too. Like there's definitely, like we said, E.T. earlier, there's literal references to Close Encounters of the Third Kind. So there's a lot of Spielberg in this.
I think my read on Spielberg in this situation, and he's not the only filmmaker I would say but what I would say about him in particular is I think he has a deep respect for other filmmakers and other directors and the end result. And I think he knows, like you're saying, that he is an influence on these folks. And my read would be that he is honored to have contributed indirectly through his work, but that he watches this film and goes, it's perfect. And I wouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? Not in a bad way, but in a like, my vision would have been different, And so I think it's interesting when you compare like what could have been, who could have been casted, who could have directed it. When something like this comes together and it's perfect, I think, and I don't know, but my read is like really filmmakers who respect each other are like, this was the perfect alchemy for this film, and I respect it so much, and I think it's beautiful. I have no idea.
I'm going to imagine that he just punched a fucking wall.
Like, I mean, Steven Spielberg punched a wall?
Yes, until his fist is bloody. He's like, God damn it.
This is how we know this is only in Lamar's imagination, because that would never happen.
But you mentioned, like, I'm saving all the heavy stuff because I don't want to get emotional until we get to the last.
Let's paste it in like they did. I can't be crying the whole time.
But like you mentioned the humor, and again, their first interaction is so fucking cute that I can't. And they just, as soon
Literally,
as
I
Rocky
cannot.
showed, like
It's
Rocky
so
shows up, what,
precious.
30 minutes into the movie? Like it's
Yeah.
pretty early on.
Yeah.
So again, the whole thing, the
I
trailer
love
giving it
that
away,
we
I don't
get to
think
him
is,
so quickly because you want to, you know.
and that whole process you mentioned earlier, like the passage of time, I actually appreciated that because I found myself questioning the second watch, like, well, how much time is it that he wakes up until he arrives at Tau Ceti and then until he meets Rog? And it's like, you can't really tell how long are they working on this entire experiment until they actually go to Tau Ceti and do the fishing thing. You can't really tell. Like there's a lot of questions, but it still just flows seamlessly of like, okay, it's taking a long time to do these things. We don't need to tell you it's day, whatever of this.
Yeah.
But their interactions and the way that they get to know each other and the comedy that's played there, the cuteness, the little dance off, like there's just so much to love.
What is it?
Yeah, like it's like a meringue. It's like a
I can't. It was so fucking cute. It's so cute. I just also love that I just love their instant ability to communicate, which like how, I mean, not fluently, obviously, but like getting the point across. I love the fucking puppet show. I love that translates across.
Just keeps wanting it over and over.
And I love that later that Rocky likes it as much as him. He's like, he's giving him a puppet show to make it easy, but also he wants one. He's like, no, showtime. It's so fucking cute. And I just love too that there's a couple moments. I do think it's important to include these. I think there's a couple moments of fear on both of their parts because that would be completely inauthentic. Like it would be completely inauthentic if they weren't afraid a little bit. So even in that first interaction, a couple little jump scares and things, but they get past them. But I think it's important to include them because otherwise you would be like, this is bullshit.
Unrealistic.
But they bond, and I love that Rocky's kind of talking to him like he's a little bit stupid, like out of the gate. Like, no, I'm fucking pointing. Like, go look.
Right.
Oh.
Now he gets more and more frustrated.
And like the blip C where he's like, why is it so much slower? They think I'm stupid.
There's so for this
so
being
good.
a two-man show and like Gosling having to carry a lot of the weight by himself at first. Like his dialogue has to really land. And it could feel forced because it's like who talks out loud to themselves like that? Like that could be but it all works when you're watching it. I love the initial like the beep and boop. Like I don't want to like belittle Rocky's language down to that, but you guys know what I mean. But when they're translating through the screen and like they're taking again the time to learn each other's languages and stuff. But the communications that happen through that screen before he's even given a voice are so cute. When he says like the whole like now it's only me and he says only us. Like
see, that's one of those beats that like it's cute, but like you want to sob a little bit. Because they're both dealing with this incredible loss. I mean, they both
lost like 20-something coworkers, friends.
And the hardest part to me is but a through line and a bonding moment for them is neither of them really knows why. Like Grace doesn't know exactly what happened to them. He just knows that they passed, and he's also working through his memories, and he knows that he knows them, but he doesn't know how. So it's like this disconnect from this deep emotion that's really hard. And then Rocky doesn't know either. And Rocky's, despite the language, the other thing I love that they capture about him is the tonal shifts, the octave shifts in his voice when he is feeling a thing. And he is so heartbroken that he couldn't save them. And not just like, oh, it makes me sob. But what also makes me love him is he's the one who says, only us. He's like, it's us now. So he is immediately here for this camaraderie and this connection that is so hard for him. And oh my God, it gets me. It got me every single time, all three watches.
Yeah, the heaviest thing for me that hits both times that I've watched this is the whole like watching each other sleep thing.
My God, I know.
That like through line of like, he doesn't want to he's like, no, I'll just sleep in my bed on my ship. Like, I don't want to sleep here.
And then he's
Rocky's like, well, I watched the rest of the crew and they never woke up. And that just like,
yo, I'm going to cry right now. Like, I'm going to cry right now. No, truly. It's so, it hits so hard. And in the book, the one thing I think they do add a little bit to is they have a rule between them of if it's a culture thing, you just have to accept it.
Okay.
And so there's a couple things that Grace tells him, like Earth culture, and he tells him Iridian culture. And the sleeping thing is one of those of like, we just have to do this. Like, this is a culture thing and I need it. And that is one of them. And it's so beautifully captured in this movie. And when we got to deal with it. We're already here. When Rocky saves him. Okay, it's fine. We're fine. When Rocky saves him, after the extreme centrifugal force. One, he has been so observant. I think that shouldn't go without noticing. He knows what to do, and he makes this massive sacrifice. And you literally, I like that they did it the way that they did with the shot, like the flashes of light, because I honestly think it might have been too much to just see it in all one fell swoop, because you see snippets of him literally burning, you guys. Like, it's just horrible. And
it's also heartbreaking during that moment that the translator gets shut off, so you're only hearing Rocky's original like language, and it's like he's like crying.
He's crying. He's crying, and he is like, and he's giving up. He's trusting Grace to save his people in that moment too. So he's choosing Grace, and he is expecting Grace to save his people. And I just think that cannot be overstated. It's insane. That connection, that bond. And yes, his voice, he's crying, and what he gives up. And it's just, and you see that reciprocated when Grace wakes up. And the first thing that he does, he's not even fully well, obviously, is go find him and like try to see how he is. And he immediately sits there and the like, I'll watch you sleep, pal. Like, oh my God.
But you got to wake up.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Fucks you up.
I've seen it twice. I didn't know the first time that I was like, as soon as that when he sacrificed himself, I was like, I knew this was going to happen. I knew he had to die. I was setting myself to.
I know.
And then even the second time watching it, I know how it's going to end. But I still got so fucking emotional again. Like
because they know that is possible.
Yeah.
They know that they could die, both of them. And they keep choosing each other, you know? And I love when he wakes up with the tap, tap, tap. And I just, oh God, it'll fuck you up. But what I also love about that, and just again, take us out of this, is they immediately get back to work.
Yeah. No hesitation.
I mean, like they're both, they know exactly how hard this has been. They both know the connection that they have and have made. They love each other. Let's just be so clear. They love each other. And they're like, we still got shit to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And they get right back to work. I love the, like we said, the chain building and the fishing. I love that he's like, fishing, what's that? And they go get this.
The time they spend in that room where he's showing them Earth.
God,
like, I wish,
so
to your point,
cute.
I wish we got more of like Arid. Eventually we do get onto the other ship, but like, that time they spend in there when he's showing them all the different things, and like they're like when they're watching fireworks at the end, like that's just really cool to see them interacting there.
He also doesn't get the ship in the book. That's one of the things I love that the movie did that the book didn't, is like he did even mentions in the book like that he would love to see the ship, but they don't have time for that. But he does later. And so like, I just think that's beautiful. But I also love, I think one of the last things on the ship that's so powerful and emotional is the goodbye between them. They think they're saying goodbye. And, you know, and the like walking, and like, it's one of those moments where I think is deeply human, right? Or at least insofar as we understand humanity. And I think that's what's cool about this, is it translates, right? It's interspecies, it's universal, that when you love someone and you have to say goodbye, it's so hard. And he's stalling
over and over.
He's like, I just, you know, I think I forgot something. I don't know if I forgot something. And he like thinks, and he turns and he does the little dance, and they just like, they do not want to leave each other. And that is just so,
yeah. It's like if Gosling, I wouldn't be surprised if Gosling gets an acting nomination for this, and if he does, it's going to be from some of those scenes. Also, when Rocky tells him, "I have enough fuel to get you home," and like Gosling crushes that scene, and he's like,
and we have to talk about the shots of that scene. Actually, you know, he's just busy working. He's trying to fucking compartmentalize what he tells him. He's been putting off telling him, and then they send him into that tunnel. And he does the Gosling move that I swear to God, if you pay attention, he does this in every movie. He puts his arm up on a thing, on like a door frame.
Yeah.
And he does that there. But he's silhouetted here. And then he turns around and he's like been very minimal in his responses. And he comes through the light and you just see his teary eyes. And it's such a good fucking shot. And it's the perfect emotional beat. And you just feel it. You feel it from both of them. And I love that Rocky's like doing the quick math-ish. And he's like, I'll give it to you. Like, it's fine. I'll give it to you. And again, they just keep choosing each other. And he sits down and he has, like you said, the breakdown. And I just love, again, it cracks it for us because we're already in the thick of it. And they, again, do the perfect emotional beats of like, he's like, I thought you made peace. And he's
I
like,
didn't
that's
any
just,
of that.
I didn't mean any of that. That's just something you say.
And then they do like he teaches him to hug, and that circles
That's
back
fucking
later.
cute.
Like there's just so many little cute moments like that do circle around. The last I wanted to go back to sort of going how we talked about this goes from wholesome to bleak real quick,
Yeah.
like on the turn of a dime, but it feels natural.
Yep.
One of the other visuals that I think is batshit crazy in this is when the base does explode.
Yes, I knew you were gonna
And
say
it's
that.
like
Yes.
in the background,
Yep.
and we see it happening, and it just takes a while for that shockwave to come to the screen. Like that is dark as hell. And
Yeah.
then at the end here, we get this incredible send off of like, we did it. They're celebrating. They have their little party hats. They're like,
Yep.
and then they're saying their goodbyes. And that's when we get the reveal of like, he didn't want to be here. He is not a hero. He is not brave. He was forced to be in this situation. But to your point, they keep choosing each other, and that's what gives him this opportunity where if you weren't looking at your watch, you might think the movie's almost over.
Right.
But now he's got to have this other brave decision, and it circles back to what the scientist told him earlier of like, you just need to find somebody to be
Well,
brave
Yao.
for.
Yao's the commander of the ship, and I think that translates a little better in the book than the movie. Is like he's the anchor of this team, and he tells him that he's like, you just need someone to make you brave. Like it's somebody has to inspire bravery in people, and I think that's the part where him being alone but not necessarily lonely is a through line as well. Of like he doesn't have a person that would justify him making the sacrifice. It's really hard for you to comprehend. I do think that love is the fuel for sacrifice. I think like you would have no reason to if you didn't love anyone, if you didn't have that deep connection. Like what would motivate you to give up your life if you don't have
Right.
that, right? Like I don't think it's fair to call him a coward, right? I think there's a spectrum here, and I don't think they are, by the way. I'm just saying he's not a coward. He's just also not ready to be brave. And I think what he admits that about himself when he's on the base and the way he talks to her about it. And I think she also knows like he's going to connect with this at some point. He's just not there yet, and she can't give him the time, you know? And and then Rocky's the thing. Rocky's the impetus that gives him this. So he doesn't go home, and it's the ultimate sacrifice. And he just sends the data back. And there is this hovering thought of Eva in the background, right? Of like, literally when the base is exploding, they're like having a moment a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And so the potential is there, and then it completely dies. And so this is maybe a little bit his moment to go back, and he chooses not to. He chooses Rocky, and I think it's brilliantly paced, brilliantly told as a story that this is the thing and this is the moment that makes him brave, and that it was always there.
Yeah, and
the potential was there.
You know, shout out Andy Weir, because this is just a well-written story from
100%.
front to back. And
100%.
like I think by the end, I don't think Grace's happy ending is getting back to Earth. I think it's finding this person that he cares about and then ending up back in the classroom, like we talked about. Like that reveal when we find out that he's like on the planet and they're still like having their bro time and hanging out and stuff. And then that final sequence where he's like in the class is just so adorable with all the little.
And I just love that image of them. Like, and we do have to spend a minute there. So like all this happens. It's insane. There's like emotional high points, low points, beautiful shots. Like Talsetti shots are gorgeous. The infrared shots are gorgeous. The way that the centrifugal motion is shot is crazy. It's really beautiful. And then you come down to this stability, and he has found this stability and home in Arid and in his friend. And they have gone to incredible lengths. It's really fun in the book, actually, how deep they go into how far the Iridians go to make him a home there,
Like comfortable,
because he helped save them. Like they're like, he's our savior, him and Rocky. And so they really welcome him with open arms, and they make it his home. And I think it's so beautiful to see him and Rocky on the beach, and that shot of them just sitting there, and like it's the last punch of like Rocky like settling in and sitting for me, that I'm like, oh my God. And he's telling him he can go home, and he's not sure.
He's still not sure, yeah.
And he's like, no, think about it a long time. Like, take your time. And then he just settles in, and like that's just so fucking beautiful. And then again, like you said, the being reunited with the kids, you know, it's the emotional break that you need, and the happy note, even though the other one's also happy, but like the extra happy note and the
clap. Yeah.
I just
a great, I don't know how much of that is like the book stuff and how much of it is like the script
The
writer here,
classroom
the
part is
director,
there,
like,
yeah.
but like the recurring elements throughout this that get brought back is just, it's so well told from beginning to end. I wanted to give one shout out to the villain of the story, the Astrophage, which is also kind of the hero of the story because it's like the fuel they need.
Inadvertently, yeah.
But like, I feel like it's difficult to make like this bacteria, this cell thing, like a villain, and like, how do you make that as interesting as possible? But they do it, like it fucking works. And the fact that it ends up being like, oh, there's a predator on its, like it all works out scientifically. It's super interesting. But
and just the process of him like discovering that is what sets up the whole story, and that's so well told as well. I agree. I think the villain of the story is the Astrophage, but also the hero a little bit. And these guys are the hero. What I love about this too is there are actually so many heroes. Eva's a hero. You know, Carl's the hero. Even he believes in him. He helps him. All these things.
He has that line where he's like, you know who you are. So again, he trusts him to get the job done. So,
and everybody else has faith in him. Like I said, I love that because they know that like he's a good dude, you know, and he's just got to find his thing.
If I had to critique one thing that'd keep this from being like a 10 out of 10 for me, I think I mentioned one thing earlier, but like we said, there's not really any wasted time and everyone has exactly the right amount. I do think as much as that explosion we referenced and like it wiping out basically the entire science team and then seeing the two scientists that are on board the ship with Grace die, I do feel like we could have had like one more scene with those characters. Like
there are more in the book.
Yeah. That is the one shortcoming of like, I feel like that moment would have held more weight if we had gotten to know those characters a little bit better. Like we get the karaoke thing, we get like one or two little throwaway scenes. I wrote down this time when Grace first arrives and he gets brought into that like board of like the world saviors basically from all these different countries. I'm like, it's like all the kids from Captain Planet grew up and they're like trying to save them for like, it's like literally one person.
Yeah, so, no, 100%. I love that. I do think in the book, fun nugget for y'all, just, you know, if you haven't read the book, spoiler warning, the science officers who die are hooking up.
The two on the ship?
No. The science officers.
The ones in the explosion.
Because there's a redundancy.
They do kind of show them like with their arms around each other, right?
In the book, they really tell you. They don't. There's no like gross details. I just mean they're so scientific and end of a world about their hookup. Like they both know they're gonna die,
like,
and they're like, fuck it, whatever. Sex, but they are very transparent with Grace about it. Like they share it with him. And it's so hysterical. It's also a very funny beat in the book of like these guys are hooking up. And I think also it's really funny how like those scenes play out, but that they do pass away and they immediately go to Rylan and he's just like, there's other options on planet Earth and they don't want to go to him. And he, you know, and she's like, you're right here. Like you're ready to go. So there's a little bit more layering in terms of crew and stuff in the book.
Yeah. I mean, they have like that little throwaway look at the carrier. I think he has his arm around her and like Grace sees it and he just kind of raises his beer and like,
no, he like in the book announces that he's having like a sexual relationship with her.
He
like tells, he like clearly like he's declaring it to HR. He's like, you know, this is happening because they treat him in the book as he's the number 2 to Eva. Of like everybody's perception is that he's the second in command here ultimately. And he's like earned that position next to her. And there's a little bit of darkness to that that's not here in the movie. But on the whole, he's deeply respected by everybody. And so they felt like they had to tell him and it becomes this really funny point.
Is there anything else that we haven't like?
Okay. So this is another thing I will share on the Instagram, but I wanted to call out for your next watch some visual comparisons that I think would be cool to look for. Again, I think the cinematography here is incredible, but I also think it is an homage to many other space films. So Contact, if you're looking for it, is there. Especially I'll give you a clue, it's on the ship. And then Interstellar, there are so many actually, but the ship, the Iridian ship, the rainbow.
Like the string stuff is very Interstellar.
But also there's shots of him looking through the ship in the suit, the centrifugal force shots. Those are all like Interstellar moments. 2001: A Space Odyssey, the first movie to ever freak me out. If y'all, fun fact, remember that. The helmet shot and one of the helmet shots from the side and him walking down the tunnel. It's like straight out of a Space Odyssey. Arrival, the alien touch through the glass.
Yep.
And then the rotating gravity shot.
I mean, that happens in Independence Day too. The alien touches. So we're going to watch that in a few hours. But
that's
a little more violent in that one.
It's not as cute in that one. And then the rotation where she touches down, the gravity rotation, which he does in the ship as well when he first does the gravity and then trips. Fun fact. And then finally, The Martian, I wanted to call out because, of course, it's same author, same other thing. But the scruffy, like space
Oh, yeah.
flight, all of that. And then the video diaries come through really well. I think even funnier in this one, actually. And The Martian, I think, was great at that. So anyway, some fun things for you to be aware of in your second watch.
I mean, it
think
is like I think it avoids being derivative, but it's just paying
Right.
homage, and it
Yeah,
does it in a
it's an
really
homage.
beautiful way. And we mentioned earlier, like literally the sound that he plays for Rocky is the Close Encounters of, like it's the melody from that
Right.
5-tune melody that from Close Encounters of the Third Kind. So
Yeah.
there's a lot to fucking love here, dude. It's
Fucking
such a
crushed
good
it.
movie, yeah.
You guys crushed it. Okay, really quick. We don't have a ton of time. What's rating?
Well, let me give you my worst fact about the
Oh
movie.
God, sorry. That's
Okay.
right. Right, go.
The pipettes used by Grace when studying the astrophage are BioHit M-line adjustable volume single channel pipettes. In 2011, Sartorius, a German-based supplier of pharmaceutical and lab equipment, acquired this product line from BioHit. So if you're really interested in where science
That's
equipment
on
comes,
IMDb?
it's on IMDb. 46 out of 157 people said that's interesting.
I fell asleep while you said that. Anyway,
that could have been a
can't.
fact about Breaking Bad, like science experiment.
the
It
fuck?
still wouldn't have been interesting.
That is 0%
I don't get it.
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I did add a sound effect for us, but I'm not near it. So, womp.
Womp womp.
Okay.
Like The
Anyway,
Price is Right.
wowzers. All right. What's your rating? Hit me.
My rating is 9.5, dude. This movie
Yeah.
is damn near perfect. I don't understand how it is so low rated on IMDb.
I think that's fucking wild.
Like it blows my mind. I don't know how you couldn't watch this and think it's just so fucking enjoyable, unless you're like I said, not in the mood for something
Right.
that's relatively lighthearted. Like if you wanted this to be because I'm not a huge sci-fi guy. So
I know
like,
I think we should up your rating just based on that.
Right?
Like,
But like if you went into this expecting only the bleak, dystopian, miserable loner guy in space, not this cute, like wholesome alien buddy comedy, then you probably were disappointed. But like I can't fault it for anything other than, like I said, not enough of the scientists. And I think there's like one other thing that I mentioned earlier, but like 9.5, it's damn near perfect.
I'm having such a hard time not giving it a 10.
Yeah.
Not because my gut check would probably be a 10, but I'm like, there's stuff that's probably not perfect. But
You've seen it 3 times.
I have watched it 3 times, and I have had an incredible experience every single time, and in a relatively short period. Again, only while it's been in theaters, and the emotional beats and the humor beats hit every time. And I was worried about that on this third watch. I was like, I'm not going to have as good a time, I bet. I'm going to anticipate things. I'm still crying. I'm still laughing.
You guys, I apologize for all the sniffles you got through my microphone today.
Guys,
but
I'm
like,
sniffling, But I just mean, it hits. And you actually, I think, appreciate more and more about it as you continue to watch it. So I don't know, fucking 10?
Go for it. Dude.
I don't know.
I say go for it.
I don't know
how many movies you've given a 10 on the pod, but I think this is very deserving.
I think maybe one.
one.
I don't know. This is, it's so fucking good. Go see it. Go see it is the moral story. Okay. So we have, like we said, we're going to keep recording. This is going to wrap up. We're going to go watch now.
No One Will Save You.
No One Will Save You.
Which is kind of an obscure Hulu original, I think. So if you haven't seen that, it's unique. I won't spoil it here, but I sold Mackenzie on it because it's a one-of-a-kind type of film. So.
We were narrowing the focus, and I was like, which one should we do? And I think this is unique. And I haven't seen this, so fun fact. Everything else, no, actually 2 I haven't seen today. So this one I haven't seen, and I'm excited. So I have very minimal background knowledge. Are going to carry this team on this next one.
So when you guys come back next week, we might be a little more loosey-goosey,
All right.
but it will be the same
We're going to be progressing through this. All right. Well,
but in the meantime, follow us on our socials. We drink and we watch things, mostly on Instagram and whatnot. Wanted to shout out Roy Scott 05, who commented on our Thor Ragnarok and said, Snow White and the Huntsman, your little mispronunciation, just makes me think of campy gay erotica, which I'm fine with.
It does.
I'm wondering how Snow White would figure into the situation, but who knows? I'd read it.
She's up there. I don't know. She's a guest star.
Yeah.
No, I love that. All right. We'll come back next week. We're going to cover that. But for now, go have a drink and watch a thing. Cheers.
Cheers.